The bad guys are using drones. Does anybody disagree with that? Okay. And the federal government has the authority to fight back, does it not? But nobody disagrees with that statement? Sure, Professor.
I would say within limits, yes. Within constitutional limits.
Okay. Do any of you disagree with giving state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back?
Again, within constitutional limits.
Okay. Tell me what your constitutional concerns are, Professor.
So I have three primary concerns. The first has to do with the Fourth Amendment and the conditions under which a warrant is required and a general warrant is forbidden by the Fourth Amendment. So in this particular case, it's important.
Professor, before you give me one of your lectures, are you saying that we should require state and local law enforcement to get a warrant before they fight back?
It depends on the condition. So in an exigent circumstance or something along the border.
I'm aware of the exceptions to the warrant requirement. But you, generally speaking, you want to require them to get a warrant.
Only for the search of a device or the seizure of property. There are also due process implications of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You started to mention another one of your objections.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. Okay. Any others?
Yeah, I also have a state rights, a 10th Amendment concern here, which is that states own the airspace adjacent to the land within their state that's not federally owned, and the current federal provisions don't recognize state sovereignty in that way.
So you want to give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back, but you want to list a whole lot of conditions. Is that a fair assessment?
Not a whole lot, but some. There needs to be a nexus to the facility. It can't be any drone anywhere in America if you're concerned about a particular facility, but right now it's too broad. There have to be acknowledgments of First Amendment concerns. So for instance, limiting the covered facilities to the experience and logic test with which the courts use for right of public access, or prohibiting media bans across the board, or setting a time limit before and after special events so they don't extend extensively. This is what a number of state measures already do, and I'd like to see that at a federal level and apply to bring this within the constitutional limits.
Sounds like a lot of conditions to me.
Things got intense in the Senate hearing when Senator John Kennedy grilled a law professor over drone surveillance, constitutional rights, and law enforcement powers. This raw exchange dives deep into the balance between public safety and civil liberties. From Fourth Amendment concerns to the First Amendment and state sovereignty, this debate has it all. Don't miss this fiery clash over drones, the Constitution, and federal authority. The skies are no longer silent. Drones, once the stuff of sci-fi, are now tools for delivery, surveillance, and potential threats. So, when bad actors use them, who gets to fight back? The federal government, the states, local police? In a recent Senate hearing, things got heated, and Senator John Kennedy didn't hold back. What started as a legal discussion quickly turned into a verbal sparring match that reveals deep tensions in how we protect America without breaking the Constitution.
The bad guys are using drones. Does anybody disagree with that?
Senator Kennedy sets the tone simple, direct, and with a hint of sarcasm. Everyone agrees, drones in the wrong hands are dangerous. The real debate? Who has the authority to stop them?
The first has to do with the Fourth Amendment. A general warrant is forbidden.
The professor urges caution. If law enforcement wants to take down a drone or its operator, they need to play by the rules. Probable cause, warrants, due process.
So you want them to get a warrant before they fight back?
But it's not just about warrants. The First Amendment enters the ring. Can drones be used for journalism, protests, public events?
Limiting facilities to those with a right of public access. Prohibiting media bans.
Suddenly, it's not just a legal debate, it's a battle over press freedom and the public's right to know. Kennedy's response?
Sounds like a lot of conditions to me. You're not trying to help this bill. You're trying to love it to death, aren't you?
Boom! The gloves are off. Kennedy accuses the professor of drowning the bill in so many rules it'll never pass. The professor defends himself, but Kennedy keeps the pressure on.
You're not talking to Bambi's baby.
No, not very many. As long as there's probable cause and the conditions are met, then absolutely you can.
Have you ever heard of a legislative practice called loving a bill to death?
Yes.
Okay? And that's when you take a bill and somebody says, I'm really for this bill. But then they add so many amendments and they screw it up so badly that the bill either becomes ineffective or doesn't pass. Is that a pretty accurate description?
Of the term?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're trying to love this to death, aren't you?
I disagree.
You're not really for giving law enforcement the power to fight back, are you?
I am in favor of giving law enforcement that power and respecting constitutional limits.
I don't believe you, Professor. Okay? You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here. Okay? I've read some of your stuff. I think you'd be more intellectually honest if you just come out and say, I'm on the side of the bad guys here. I think we shouldn't give state and local law enforcement the authority to fight back. You're trying to make it as hard as possible, aren't you?
This drone debate is far from over, and you better believe it's not just happening in Washington. It's happening in your city, your neighborhood, and maybe even your skies. Hit that like button if you believe in accountability. Drop a comment. Should local cops be able to shoot drones out of the sky? Subscribe for more real moments from Capitol Hill and beyond. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp, stay free.